Thank you. Hello. Well. Ready? Hello.
Hello.
We are some of Devolver Digital. My name is Andrew Parsons. This is Graeme Struthers.
Hi.
And we're going to talk to you about the death of Devolver Digital today. Sorry. So a little background about Devolver. We are pretty new. We're about 5 years old. We're also pretty small. There are about 6 of us, give or take. There's 2 of us in London, and then there's 4 in Austin, Texas. We have development teams from all over the place. We work with teams from all over the world, and you can see some of them there.
So the thing we wanted to talk about really is about fans and why they're so important to us. We are a very small company, as Andrew mentioned, and our way of reaching out to people has been largely through fans who've engaged with us, and then we've used that engagement to try and spread the message about the different projects we work on. Joe Strum is a personal hero of mine, and so you're going to see a few of his quotes littered throughout this presentation, just for reference. And it's not doing anything. There we go.
Like that one. So this, without people, you're nothing. This is the idea that without your fans, and as any kind of entity, but especially for Devolver Digital, without your fans, you're nothing. And you rely on them for support, and they are pretty much crucial to everything you do.
So early on in the sort of journey of Devolver Digital, we really got into and embraced the world of streaming and Let's Plays and all the things that consumers would do, fans would do to make available content of them playing our games. To us, this was like a no-brainer. I know a lot of companies have struggled with this, but for us, it was from the get-go, it was like you can do anything you want. And what that led to is people sharing so much content. And I guess we went from the trailers we ourselves would have made would have been numbered in the tens, but they've gone up to the thousands. And from that, the viewings that we've got on YouTube are now, I don't know where they are now, but they're certainly in the tens of millions. So that also led to an explosion of creativity, and seeing what people would do with the content was pretty inspiring.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of examples of how that works. And basically, the idea with streaming specifically is that if you embrace that and you allow that to happen and you're cool about it, then really good things can happen with a good fan community. So if we can have a look at this first video.
So this is the launch trailer that we, Devolver, made for Hotline Miami 2. So this is the one that we made. So that was, as Graeme said, that was the announcement trailer for Hotline Miami 2. And shortly after we created that and released it onto YouTube, this happened. So you can show the next one.
So that was an amazing example of basically fan work. The guy was a YouTube user called No Names Left. He's an animation student. And what he basically did there, I don't know if you got it, but it was like a shot-for-shot remake of the trailer that we made for Hotline Miami 2. Completely off his own back. He just wanted to make something as part of the fan community.
And annoyingly, he got more views than we did. So I don't know what that says about us. So coming on from that was around that point, Sony got in touch with us and asked if we would be interested in bringing Hotline Miami to Vita and PlayStation 3, which of course the answer was pretty straightforward, yes. So at the point that happened, it got announced. And as soon as it was announced, there was so much activity on Twitter from fans who were really excited about the idea of it coming to console. And so that led sort of us to think, how could we use that? What can we actually do to get that kind of transferred into something visual?
Yeah, so the idea was we put the word out and we said to you know, we didn't want to spam people, we didn't want to get in their faces. We just said, okay, pick a mask and make a short piece of film. We gave them a few guidelines and we just said, if you feel like it, send it in to us. We're making a trailer for a PlayStation launch trailer. And yeah, again, it was this kind of thing, very soft, very hands-off. We just said, if you want to do it, send us your footage. And this is the result of that.
We got literally hundreds, if not probably close to 1,000 clips sent to us, which we then went through. And from that, we then edited it into the launch trailer, which you're about to see. And as the finance guy at Devolver likes to point out, that didn't cost us anything.
So this next thing is another quote from the late, great Joe Strummer. People can change anything they want to, and that means everything in the world. And the kind of context of this was basically if you allow people to join in, if you take a relaxed, flexible approach to what they can do, and you allow them to do it, then you're always going to get something good. And a kind of logical extension of this was what we call the voicemails trailer.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty normal that when you have a successful game, you do an accolades trailer where you take pull quotes from various websites and put that out there with your 10 out of 10s or 9 out of 10 review scores. This time around, again, slightly different approach. We actually had set up a hotline in Miami, and we'd invited people on Twitter to leave messages about how they felt about the game, whether they liked it or not. So over time, we got quite a lot of messages left, and then that led us to, well, why not use fan quotes for the accolades trailer rather than website quotes? So again, this is what came from that.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Playing Hotline Miami has made me hate every game that isn't Hotline Miami.
I really like having fun and also not having fun. This game does a good job of allowing me to both have fun and not have fun.
Hotline Miami is the best indie game of the year, and it may well be the best game of the year, and I drilled a lot of people into the skull with a power drill. Okay, so this game is kind of scary. I didn't like it. It scared me at the very end. I was like, what? It's a cute, but maybe that was the point. It was so scary that we'll go to it's a good game, though. So, good luck in the future. Keep making up in the game. Good job.
Messages.
So again, it was this premise that if you don't try and flood people with requests, and you're soft on social media, and you react to them, and you talk to them like normal human beings, your fans become way more important to you than you can ever imagine. But that has kind of two sides to it.
Yeah, it's not like everything goes to plan, as we all know when you make video games. Gods Will Be Watching is a game that we released earlier this year, and it's one of these games that the designer, Geordie, when he was coming up with the concept and building his game, it was evident the game was going to be one of those really hard, tough games to play, not just gameplay-wise, but also it's quite demanding, you know, emotionally, I guess. Yeah. So when we got to the point that the game was coming out, I mean, we support the creative, we don't interfere with that process, but there was a sense that we might have a little bit of a backlash given just how hard the game was. And just to explain how that felt for us, he had to give us a special build that was made easy for us to play because we couldn't actually play his game. It was that difficult.
I couldn't finish that one.
Yeah. So we had, I guess, you know, we can show you a little bit of it here if you want. So this probably will make a lot of sense to British people. This is what happened next.
Yeah, we had just to give this some context, if you're not British or not from Britain, or you don't know what Marmite is, it's a very strong tasting thing, and it has a very pronounced reaction. People either love it or they hate it.
Nothing in the middle.
Yeah, there's nothing in the middle. So Gods Will Be Watching came out, and it really did engender this wonderful, I mean, for us it was amazing because people absolutely loved it. Some people hated it. Lots of critical acclaim. People were really into it. And actually, there are quite a few people who were angry. You know, they were cross with the developers for making that was making something that was so difficult. So Geordie, who's the designer of Gods Will Be Watching and the engineer, I guess, he absorbed all this, and it was because he was close to the fans on Steam, and he understood what it was he needed to do. He talked with us about it, and we said, "Yep, that's a brilliant idea." And the upshot of that,
click,
was a Mercy update, and this was basically designed as a new way to enjoy the game. It changed the way that you could choose, changed the way you could play the game by adding a different couple of difficulty levels and this kind of thing. And what it did was it turned fans who had been unhappy about what they'd received, they turned into evangelical people. And the reason for this is that they had felt they'd been listened to. They had felt that their peers, i.e. the developers, had reacted to what they said. And again, it was kind of nothing to do with Devolver. That's the whole point. It put the developers and the fans together, and they came up with the Mercy update.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned at the top of this, we are a very small company, but one thing we do a lot is we travel a lot. Basically, we get out there, we get to as many shows as possible where there's going to be fans as well as media. And it's pretty tough. I mean, I think this year we've probably so far spent about 8 or 9 weeks on the road, and we still have another 3 shows left in this year. But it's not just us that travels, it's really the developers, because in the end, fans aren't interested in meeting anyone from Devolver, nor should they be. They really want to hang out with the developers and get that unfiltered, straight to the creator kind of contact. And also from the developers' point of view, what they're getting at shows, they're getting a lot of people playing their games prior to them actually being released. So you're actually seeing how they play, how they interact with the game, and you can quite quickly pick up if there are areas of the game that need improvement. And actually, again, back to YouTube, back to Facebook, back to Twitter, it becomes a story in and of itself because the fans themselves are tweeting, they're filming, they're uploading stuff to YouTube, and it just amplifies everything that's going on around the game. So, you know, it's for us, unfiltered communication. It's also, there is a lot of fun to be had at these shows. It is hard work. But, you know, I'd certainly recommend it to anyone. If you haven't tried it, try it.
Yeah, and the upshot of traveling a lot is the kind of point of it, if you like, the crux of the whole thing, and this pretty much puts a cap on what we're talking about today, is that the developers meet the fans. And when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter whether you're a publisher, developer, whatever, the fans are the people who are going to buy your game. So it's way more important for the fans to meet the developer, because those two are the two most important people in this whole shebang. And the whole point of this is that we essentially make ourselves irrelevant by putting the two together. So here's a little piece of that.
Yes, irrelevant. So that's it.
Be nice to people.
Yeah. It seems to work. So thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, cheers.